Welcome to a very special edition of Make We Talk here this evening. The topic is, does Jamaicans feel safe in their own home while the country's crime rate viral out of control? This evening I have with me Mr. Louis Barton, the president of JATU. Pretty much will soon be joined by Mr. Rupert Francis, chairman of the Crime Prevention Task Force for the Diaspora in America. Good evening, Mr. Barton. How are you doing, sir?
Good evening, Mr. Tavares. I'm okay, sir. I'm alive and well in Jamaica. Know the crime situation in Jamaica, but I'm still here.
You know, Mr. Barton, you know, we ask the questions time and time again. Does Jamaicans feel safe in their own home?
It's probably like a double-edged answer, because when I'm in my house, I feel safe. To tell you the truth, I don't feel threatened in certain neighborhoods. I remember, well, I used to live in America. When I came home about 20 years ago, I used to drink at a bar in Portmore. And after a time, I realized that I might get killed just sitting down in the bar drinking. So I went home. My house, well, I went to start to visit a friend in not a nice neighborhood, but then somebody got killed in his neighborhood, my friend's neighborhood, in his house, in his yard. So I stopped going to people's yard. So now I'm at home. I don't know at what point I'm going to, I will start to feel threatened in my house, because the other day I could hear gunshots firing near to my house. I was in my house and I could hear the gunshot outside. So I guess it's a progression. The further you, the more you try to protect yourself, is the more crime come to you. But as of right now, in my house, I feel safe, but less safe than like last year, right? But if you are on the road, Tavares, if you are on the road, you really, right now I'm driving, and as soon as I get off the road, I'm going to probably show my face. I might show whether I'm intense, how intense I am. But
Yes.
but on the road, in the area that I'm driving now, it is just not safe. I'm looking around to make sure that there's not, if there's a potential threat, then I might pick it up before it hit me.
Right.
So this is safety that you feel in Jamaica. It is not there, but it is not there all over. But it depends on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just give you another example, which is kind of going overboard with it. But I was traveling on the highway between Kingston and Ocho, that new highway, and I was coming back at night, and I just felt unsafe at a certain point because it was dark. There's no road light. There's no light on the road.
No street lights.
No street light. And I'm saying, well, suppose I get a puncture here. Suppose anything happen, I have to stop. Because I heard that they hold up people on that road already. You know, so there's a fear, and within that fear, they not blaming you media people, but the media say that it is there, and you cannot discount it because it is really there. But by repeating it so often, it intensifies the fear. So you know, we just have to live day by day, and a little planning that we have, because you know, living day by day is not the best thing to do for any person. You have to plan for tomorrow or next week, but the plans that you have to do depend on how you feel about going out tomorrow. Now is almost 7 o'clock, and I'm heading home, so I won't stop and buy a piece of jerk chicken from from one of the vendors who I usually buy from
Right.
because of the possible crime. Last night or yesterday, I heard about, we saw the video of this grocer, this Chinese grocer in Hanover. Um, some guy just going in and killing him heartlessly. I mean, I don't know. All of those
But
things
but
really
but
act on your mind and start to make you start to fear.
but Mr. Barton, what
Yeah,
can you say to our fellow Jamaicans who live overseas, who lives in the Cayman Islands, who lives in Britain, who lives in America? Is Jamaica a safe place for them to come now?
I think so.
In
Um,
what in what way is a safe place for them to come now when the crime is out of whack, when the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Insecurity and Injustice apparently they are clueless in what they're doing?
yeah, and they admit it because they always talk about divine intervention, whether whichever side it is, I'm talking about divine intervention. And to me, divine intervention means that you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you don't have a,
Mr. Barton?
so you're asking God to come down and solve this problem for you. But with that atmosphere of the administration not knowing what to do, as I tried to say before, there are certain places that you can feel safe, and if you don't know, yeah, I remember, but people used to say when in my younger days, what you know, what you don't know won't hurt you. You
Yes.
know, so if you're lucky enough and you don't know, then you can have a good time in Jamaica. But I have friends who are retired and living in North America. And to tell you the truth, Jeffrey, because I'm close to them, I wouldn't
Mhm.
mind them coming to visit. But so many people that I know who return as returning residents, they come here, they come home, and they get killed. They get killed. I know of four people, four persons that I know at a personal level, my good friends
Yes.
returned to Jamaica, one, two from England, two from America, and they returned and they got killed. You know, so I don't know. It is not
But you
safe.
know
It
you
is
know
not safe. And then the other thing is that it's not just Jamaica alone, Jeffrey. Is all over the world. We're getting this. It is not just that Jamaica have a higher murder rate than than probably, well, I even think I was gonna say New York, but New York have a very high murder rate. But they have a higher murder rate than say Sweden, right?
yes,
But the murder rate in Sweden is increasing. The
yes.
murder rate in Trinidad, Guyana,
Yes.
all of those places, they're increasing. They're
Hold
not
on
as high as Jamaica.
hold on one for Mr. Barton. I have with me Dr. Rupert Francis, chairman of the Crime Prevention Task Force of the diaspora, a well-known Jamaican. Dr. Francis, welcome to Make We Talk, special edition of Make We Talk.
Thank you for having me, my friend, Mr. Tavares. Good to
Yes.
be on it. I saw some very gruesome pictures just recently sent to me, and that might, one of them might not be in Jamaica, but I've seen some others from Jamaica, and I'm telling you, this is crazy.
I also
Absolutely crazy.
I also have with me Dr. Paulette Anarchy Thompson. She's the pastor of the Gospel Foundation Deliverance Ministries in Kissimmee, Florida.
Okay.
Pastor Thompson, welcome to a special edition of Make We Talk. Does Jamaicans feel safe in their homes while the crime virus of control? Welcome to Make We Talk, Dr. Thompson.
Bless the heart, sir. How are you?
I am doing good. What is your views on our country? How the
Oh
crime
my
is out of
goodness.
whack?
Jeffrey. Oh my goodness. I didn't even come knowing what the topic is or anything. I just saw I just saw the invite like just logged on to come and listen. They're just putting me in the hot spot.
Well,
Um,
you can say something, Doc.
I,
Come on.
Mm.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you? Wow. Oh my goodness. Jeff, I don't know. Our country has really gone upside down. And it's sad to say that right now I'm planning on going to my country. And I love Jamaica with everything therein. I always tell people I'm born, grow, breaded, and you name it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Jamaican all over. And it's so sad that in our country so much crime and no, they're not doing anything about it. And we have to blame our government because we don't see what our government is doing to really help to ease um all this crime. Every day people are just dying, just being murdered. You know, I can understand you go on the road and there's a car accident, but people are dying by the hand of guns, gun violence, and stuff like that. And it shouldn't be. And for Jamaica, it's too many. Jamaica have more death than pretty much here in America by murder.
Mm.
I live in Florida, at least Florida, and Florida don't have the amount of death that Jamaica have. It's sad.
Quite right. You're quite right, Pastor.
Dr. Francis?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
hear?
As a member of the diaspora,
Hmm.
what is Jamaicans in the diaspora saying about the crime rate in our country?
Well, let me say this, sure. That I don't think they're saying enough. The pastor, doctor who just spoke, and hear the other gentleman who spoke. I don't think they're saying enough. I think that some people are hoping it's not true. Some people are saying it is not true because they are in denial, 4 stages of denial, and I think that also that they need to understand that by even sending funds down to Jamaica, investing in Jamaica is a part of you, and you should care because a bullet has no respect of persons. Okay. And at the rate it's going now, it's among the most volatile countries in the world, even more than war-torn Ukraine, when you look at it on 100,000 ratio. And so that is really significant. It's in the same category as Afghanistan and countries like that with a lot of violence that is going on. And that is really not what I think Jamaica is all about. However, as she quite rightly said, successive governments have allowed this thing to have gotten out of control, and they now have no answers. One of the reasons is that they do not listen. They don't listen to anybody. And I don't think if even God came on, unless he identified himself as God, that they would even listen to him. Okay? And so that is the sad part about it, that we're a country that has a great religious base. And there are a few categories of persons in Jamaica, for example, those that it doesn't affect them, so they think it's not going to come to their door. Some who can afford not to have it come to their door. Some who says it's just a ghetto problem, so it will not come to their door. And then there's some that are actual perpetrators as well, And so that is really the situation that we find ourselves in. And this is really sad because if you just to get on a more academic level,
Mm-hmm.
it has been studied as to the reasons why is the neglect of our people, especially at the level of the poor people, the underserved populations, especially the young people. We have neglected them. And I cannot understand how people have become so socialized to murder that the other day, for example, a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old was raped, savagely raped and almost killed. And nobody said anything. Then there again, a social influencer, she was killed. Of course, we had an uproar about that. And then there's another one that they found recently in the western part of Jamaica. Now the question is, and everybody's saying, oh, it couldn't happen to me. Well, I am telling you, it could happen to you. Okay, and that's the point. So we really need to have to do so. And I don't care who it affects or what have you. I am telling you, in Jamaica, you should not have to be walking on eggshells. Okay, and looking behind your back, because there's somebody, and I'm going to stop at this point, somebody doesn't even like you, like what you do, like your face, like what clothes you wear, and they either want it or what have you. they will come and take it. The other last point. The other day, I got a video from someone who shows that they were driving on the freeway from Ocherius. And when they came to almost the end to where they were going to come, there was a stone thrown at the car. The whole idea is to hit out the window of the car so that the person would stop, and then they would, they would stop, and then they would rob them and what have you. But it could have escalated to something more. No, this is Jamaica that we live in. And let me tell you something. Although the young people are carrying it out, some people, well, we have to look at the history, and I'm not going to go into that now. I've said enough, I think. I'm disgusted beyond disgust. It has, my spirits are high, on a number, and many days when I look at these things, it has just got so low, I can't even explain it. I'm so distraught about what is happening. So that's the view, I think, of the diasporans that I come, but I need for them to express it more and to let people know we'll not accept that type of behavior by sending our funds to Jamaica.
I'm gonna go to Mr. Lovey Barton pretty soon, but I just want to invite my good friend Jackie to unmute his mic. He's a former member of the Jamaica Defense Force. He is on my Zoom here this evening, and I would love him to give his views on the crime situation in our country. Does Jamaicans feel safe in their own homes while the crime rate viral out of control? And the Minister of National Security and Injustice, along with the Commissioner of Police, Twiddly Dum Dum, they ain't doing nothing about it. They're upset because I'm calling them names. Before they go and fight the crime in our country, they're upset because other people, they're saying that we are disrespecting the office of the Commissioner and the office of the Minister of National Security. Jackie, if you're there, unmute your mic. What is your views on the whole crime situation in our country, sir? Apparently Jackie's not there, Mr. Barton.
I don't know if we're reason that we can talk. But Brother Jeffrey, can I just say something a second?
Go ahead.
Before you get to Mr. Barton? I remember, you know what? The crime in Jamaica has spiraled so much that even the Jamaica Defense Force and Constabulary Force, people in there are so involved in these in these crimes. I remember last year, December, I was in Jamaica, and when I was there, I just got landed in Jamaica, and I was listening to the news, and it was like four people who got money, I thought 100 and something Jamaican dollars to go and kill two or three females in Westmoreland. And guess what? One of them was like a police officer, and another one was like a soldier. All right, and two something, whatever. I don't remember quite the whole story.
Yes, I remember that case.
And I'm saying it comes to the point in Jamaica now where it's like people's life doesn't value anything. Because if you're going to look at that, 150,000 Jamaican dollars to go and take two lives, it's costing the family more money to bury those people. And you're going to just take their life just like that. And you don't hear anything about it afterward. You just hear it on the news that time, and then you don't hear nothing about it. You don't know if these people gone scot-free. What it is. The problem is Jamaica, the law in Jamaica is not holding people accountable. Until we then start holding people accountable, and guess what? Right now is when we have to go back now. Jamaica need to look back and revisit the old time law. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a teeth. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm a pastor, but guess what? If God constitute that, then who am I not to? All right. And if you can take somebody's life, then guess what? We need to take yours. And until it start to go back, or guess what? Jungle justice is gonna start, and that's what we really don't want to start. If the law is not if the lawmakers are not doing anything to control it, then that's where things gonna go. People are not happy in Jamaica. People can never be happy in Jamaica, in the islands of Jamaica. I remember the child growing up, we could sleep with our door wide open. All right, neighbors will be looking out for neighbors. Now you can't look out for nobody because you don't know who is what or who is not. And it's so sad. Jamaica is so small for this.
But you know something, Dr. Anarchy Thompson? The former Minister of National Security was a member of Parliament for, I think it's West St. Mary, Robert Bobby Montague. came out a couple months ago and he said it in the parliament. He said they should resume hanging. Hang them
I
until they
agree.
kill the teeth.
I agree.
And a lot of people said no, a lot of people was upset because of what he said, and I agree with him.
No, but it's right. An eye
Louis
for an
Barton?
eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Yes. Louis Barton?
Yeah, I hate to disagree with such a prominent colleagues on this, but I'm looking for solutions. One of the things that I'm looking at, you see, is that we are focusing on Jamaica, and I understand the reason why, because we are all Jamaicans, we have Jamaican connection. But if you look at what is at crime worldwide, crime is increasing worldwide. Now I'm saying that there must be a reason why crime has increased in Trinidad, in New York City. I was in New York City last year, and every weekend, I would probably say every day, somebody gets shot or killed. And if you get shot, that means somebody's trying to kill you. You're just lucky that you didn't get killed. So I'm saying that let us find a solution. Let us find the reason. And I'm putting some economic reason, some poverty reason. And it's not just because you're poor why you get into this, but it has something to do with it. But let us find a reason for these things and try to correct it. I am really not into in the eye for an eye. I'm saying as a matter of fact, one of my solutions is that if you are found guilty in a murder, let us put you to work so you can support the child beneficiaries of those victims. Put you to work so you can support them. You cannot get away with just by giving up your life. You have something,
Well,
you cause a problem, so let us put you to work so you can pay for your problem. But
look,
the bottom line though, at least one of my bottom line is to look for an international solution, because even in Europe, even some of these European countries that is classified as developed or first world, they have high crime rate. What do we have in common between all of them? In
well,
Africa, there's a high crime rate. The
mhm,
Caribbean, or South America, El Salvador, South Africa. Let us
mhm.
come together as a United Nations so that we
Yeah,
can find the problem and
But
put a
Louis,
solution. But
Louis,
let me
look,
just one thing, one of my solution, right? And a number of my friends say I'm going back. I call it going back to the future. This idea that you are defending your own community, where in the 70s they used to have home guard. We have to make up our mind that we are the first defense. We community are the first defense of against crime in our community. The
uh,
police can come in to assist us, but we are the first line of defense.
my
But
brother,
listen,
listen, I
But
just want to say,
can I say
go
something
ahead.
go ahead,
about?
Jackie.
All right. When I understand where you're coming from with the home guard back in the 60s, early 70s, talking about the community. But if you put things and look through it through the glass, the community is 75% of why the crime is still going on. Reason being, reason being, the community is in league with the criminals.
thank
You
you.
understand me? Because what they are saying, they're protecting their turf or whatever. And they're not giving the police no information. Remember, crime can't stop without information. And if they don't have no form of information, they could never go out and do anything. If if I don't hear that it's Tom, Dick, and Harry break into the shop or break the car glass, there's no
Mhm.
arrest to be made. And if you have the information and you hold it, in which we have to look through the glass, as I say, and the second hand, in which when I say the community is 75% with the crime and the security force is the next 25%, because you'll have the 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 citizen who decides that yes, I'm gonna stand up and fight against crime. And when that person go to the police station and say it's Tom,
Mhm.
Dick, or Harry, that same
Mhm.
police officer Call
Good.
Tom, Dick, and Harry and tell him that is Marcia and Sonia come and tell us
Thank
how
you.
you do it.
Thank you. Mhm.
So Marcia and Sonia family gone.
Mm,
Them a go
mm,
kill Marcia and Sonia family.
mm,
Them a go
mm.
burn out them house. So
Mhm.
we have to take drastic measures in which we have to sweep out the crime in every way in the security force. Because when I realize that 50% of the security force I do hire
Corrupt.
for kill. I have
Okay.
to kill. Because them are the
Okay.
robbery same way. Yeah, and then they go on suspension, them are go to robbery, them are kill,
All
them are go to hitman work same way. You
Thank
understand me?
you.
And I like then we're in which back in the early 80s, 70s, early 80s, and maybe late 90s, when members of the JCF and the JDF, when you enlist, it take you at least a year to go in because they're doing proper vetting to check background on each individual. They're not doing that now because when you check it out, the Jamaica Defense Force, they used to have an intake with no more than 150 or 170 soldiers in an intake. And right now you have 500-600 soldiers in an intake. They trained some soldiers when last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They passed out in September, right? Remember, 400 and hard. I don't remember the numbers.
The
Trained
number.
and they pass out, they graduate, them as soldier, they know everything about gun and what to do about gun.
Mhm.
And guess what? When they went back under the advanced training, the 2-week advanced training, and then come back, they post to which battalion or regiment they're gonna go. Almost 300 of them get sent
Yes.
home because
All right.
them people are right. So you have trained gunmen.
Mhm.
You
All right.
train gunmen and send them out there. And guess what?
Okay.
Don't look at it that way. You know, say a lot of these guys, they have it and say, guess what? The system chew you up and spit you out. We're gonna deal with the system a certain way.
Yeah,
And then see one go, they go
yeah,
recruit them own thing and deal with them things. We're not doing the
yeah.
vetting. We're not doing the vetting that is supposed to be done. When I enlist in the JDF, it take them 2 years to call me. And I wonder how they take so long. Never know. And how you think me find out? One day me go on shop, go on bar. Cause you know shop and bar, I see them have the little shop with the bar. And man in there from the intelligence unit. There was what? JDF MIU. And I ask people question about me in the shop and me the right there.
Mm,
Them a jump the people them and ask them question about me. To find
mm.
out what kind of person I am. Them not do them thing they no more.
Jackie,
Yeah.
is it that the JDF along with the JCF is lack of those things that they don't go about it anymore to try and find out if a Jeffrey Tavares has 4011 team gun?
They,
Robert
they,
Gold.
they lack of it, Brother Jeffrey. Because all right, look, how many members from the JDF are the JCF while they're training? That's when they send them home. Find out that they want it for this or want it for that.
My God.
Yeah, but I have to support Jackie as Jackie might know that I served myself for quite some time in the JDF, and of course they're not doing the background checks because they have to be on a fast track, and it's so ridiculous. You can't have. I believe everybody should do polygraph before coming into any of
That's right.
the forces and what have you. But I want to, and I support what Jackie has said in terms of the informer to dead culture that is in Jamaica, and you really don't know who to trust. But I think that the majority of policemen and the majority of soldiers that are there now, some of them. Let me say this to you. It's obvious that trains, because I saw a civilian the other day beat a policeman in such a grievous. I wish I could go through the film and just, do something, because
Grab it.
I'm telling you, it was terrible.
Yeah,
So, and if
I
you're
feel
properly
so
trained,
much.
yes,
I feel so much.
yeah, yeah,
Burn my
and
belly.
yes, it burned me, yeah, but and I say to myself, because they're not trained properly, and we have offered my organization, the organization I represent, the task force worldwide. has offered these training for free to the Jamaican government. What is their response? They go and get somebody from Israel or what have you to come and train people and what have you. It is, they are not listening. They don't, and I have to say to governments, successive governments, that they do not care about the poor people of Jamaica. And so you have to be careful. And they have a thing named, if you can't get caught, you get shot. And so therefore, all of these things, so is a mix of, let me make it clear to Louis, who has said about, what we should do and solutions. We have all this. We gave them the solutions, Louis, and they are not listening. Okay, they're not. You can't make them listen, no matter what how you played. And the fact of the matter is, some of these young men, and if you listen to the studies of Herbert Gale, Professor Herbert Gale, victimologist, the best, one of the best in the region, is from Jamaica. He tells you, he can tell you how these people became who they are. The fact of the matter is that men have been, and especially men, have been alienated from 1962. They've worked on women, which is not a wrong thing. But at the same time, they forget the men, and now the men have become criminals, and they are seeing the rich steal, and they say it's my time to steal now because they're behaving like little Robin Hoods. The problem is also when you put a man in prison, he's not in prison in Jamaica. He's drinking Hennessy. He's
Thank you.
class. He can
That's
have
Thank
true.
you.
visitors.
That's
He
true.
can get
That's
married.
Thank you.
He can do that. And so listen to me, Louis. Please find out
Thank
the
you.
right. And we are one of the world's top.
That's
When they talk
foolishness.
about crime is everywhere,
Thank
Jamaica
you.
is 10 times higher than in the United States. 10
Thank
times
you.
higher than any other
Thank
country you
you.
can
Yes,
talk
yes,
about.
small
So I
And
country.
your
know this as a
statistics,
fact.
your
And I'm
studies.
telling you, you
No,
need to go research it the next time before you say what you just said. Because
And I
I know you mean from the bottom of your heart, but it is not true.
and I
Louis,
think an
Well,
exchange with the
hold
government.
on for me, Jackie. Hold on a minute for me, Jackie. Louis?
Yeah.
yeah, no, I am saying that everything that all the solution that has been proposed is
Mhm.
solutions that just coming off the top of our head. They are subjective solutions. I'm
No,
saying let us find some practical
yes,
solution.
that's
Let us
yeah, no.
Louis.
define the
Hold on. Let's
problem.
finish. Let's
What
finish.
is the problem? I'm saying that the crime has increased in all countries. The crime has increased in New York.
Louis, I'm losing you, Mr. Barton. I think your internet system is a bit, Louis, I'm losing you.
So it is.
Brother
I'm not
Jeffrey.
hearing you.
Brother
Louis, I'm
Jeff.
losing you.
No, but no. All I'm saying is let us find what the problem is because most countries have a crime
But Louis,
problem.
Louis,
So if
Louis,
all of us are living this earth have the
Louis,
same
hold a
problem,
minute for me,
then there
Louis.
must be some common factor that is
But
taking us
Louis,
forward.
the
Uh-huh.
problem, we know the problem. The problem stem from a long time thing that's going on in our country. The political parties, they're the one who create the bloody gangs.
That's true.
They're the one who started the whole gangmanism in the country. They're the one who started distributing guns. Now it is
And
out of control and they can't do a bloody thing about it.
there's
And
a
we
thing
must
that
call a spade a spade. The two
yeah,
So
political party has wrecked this country.
yeah.
Well, if that is the problem, what is the solution to that? To get rid of them? You're going to.
Well, if we could get
If
rid of
that is the
them,
problem, I don't
it,
agree with that.
If
That's
you're
the
trying to
problem.
get
How
rid
do
of
we
them,
solve it?
if you're trying to get rid of the political party, you're gonna hear that you're planning a coup against the country and all kind of
First.
things gonna happen. But what I see, and let me tell you, it's not because when I was serving, things were different. This crime plan that the government have,
none,
it's outplayed because
none.
soldiers are soldiers. Soldiers is the strength of a country. Yeah?
Mhm.
And you can't have soldier doing policing. You can't have soldier at the police work. You can't have soldier on work road 24/7.
Exactly.
So the lack of discipline and respect for them gone right there and then.
Mm-hmm.
Because soldier walk the street like police, them are the policing work.
Mm.
When I remember back then when I was, even before I enlist, when I see a soldier, I know say a time for me, if I even 12 o'clock midday, a time for me left street and go in my house.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right now, them say soldier, me say woman a kick soldier. Them are one of my
Exactly.
soldier gun. Them are back
Yeah.
so no, Them are the strength of the country. You can't have soldiers and the police in. That are one thing. It is outplayed. It is outplayed. Soldiers
So how
are
do we
not treat them
police?
like them are police.
How do we
What?
police the society?
The fact of the matter, listen,
I
Louis, let me
agree
explain.
with you.
Louis, you can't 1 minute you agree, 1 minute you disagree. Listen to what I'm saying. You talk about solutions, and he's giving you solutions. You cannot have police on the road 24/7. It doesn't make sense. They're gonna get too familiar with the building, and then man have girlfriend, etc., blah blah. And by the time secret gone out and all that sort of thing. So I was a soldier, and I'm a human being. They're all human beings.
Yes.
But when you have someone like a girl, okay, kicking a policeman, doing things like that, and then they talk about inform of the dead culture and all that. So how are we going to resolve it if we don't have a strong arm? We have to decide our minds what we want, okay?
Yeah.
And the people of the country, we have to get together and we have to say to each other, enough is enough, okay? We can't, there's no consequence of killing somebody, none at all.
Yes, cordon and search.
What?
When you cordon and search, you lock off an area. You lock down the entire area. Only person leave that area is essential workers, police, soldiers, teachers, fires. And no man is supposed to walk the street. Everybody's supposed to be in them house. And you do whatever. You cordon and search and you lock down the area. But no, the area locked down. Anybody walk in and walk out. I remember back then, nobody go in, nobody go out.
Nobody come out. Thank you.
You understand me? But it is different now. And what just like with the military, when my assumption, you understand me, or my observation is that when they start recruiting so many soldiers in one time, because back then it was what 1 GR, 2 GR, 3 GR, Coast Guard, here we. Now they have so many brigades. And guess what? Because the Prime Minister and the former Chief of Staff, the former Chief of Staff was the Prime Minister lecturer at UWI. Yeah? And the Prime Minister built that rank for him to give him the Lieutenant General promotion. But for him to get that rank, him have to have a certain amount of soldiers under his command. And for him get them soldiers under his command, that's why they start recruiting. They do this vast recruitment where they don't do no vetting and bring in all these whole heap of people. So that's why they have to do that to get that rank. Check the history. He must have that amount of soldiers under his command. If not go have no battalions anymore, he must go have a brigade. And each brigade consists of like 3 to 4 battalions. So they have 1 brigade, 2 brigade, 3 brigade, 4 brigade, 5 brigade, 7 brigades now. That's why they're building so many bases all over. Montego Bay used to just have an outpost with 3 GR soldiers. But now, right now, they have a base for 2 GR right there in flankers. Right? You see them go look at site in Warwick Hill the other day to build a base again. Because what? You have to have those. So them not do all of that.
But even the base is not.
Hold on for me, Dr. Francis. I have with me Marcel Clark, chairman of the Crime Prevention Unit in St. Thomas. He's a great grandson of Paul Bogle, the Leather Rebellion. You see, we have to start a rebellion again. The Clark, unmute your mic for me. Do you feel safe in your home while the crime situation is out of control? I'm the Minister of National Security and Justice, dumb. And the Commissioner of Police, twiddly dumb. Not doing nothing.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Hold on for me, Dr. Francis. Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. You struck a nerve a while ago with that question. If I feel safe in my home. I used to have 21 dogs. And I was down to 3. And last night I lost the main one, the bad one. So if you ask me the question if I feel safe, no. Because you see, gun may stick, machete may be dull, but dog no afraid to bite.
Mm.
And dog will always forewarn you when once there's somebody coming close to your home, the dog will warn you. So when I lose my main bad dog, it leave me wondering and pondering. Now, what do I do next? And I see crime getting closer and closer each and every day. And every time you turn on the television, you turn on the radio, you open your phone or you go on any one of the social media, it's just mayhem. I saw a video with that Chinese businessman. And I used to say, boy, the Chinaman and the Indian is safe because there's a law separate unto them. But I bet your bottom dollar that crime going solved by Monday with that Chinese businessman. I guarantee you they're going to have them in custody.
But they have 3 suspects in custody already.
All right, my rest my case.
They have
But
3
No,
suspects in
So,
custody.
the question must be asked. I'm going to get to Dr. Francis next. But the question must be asked, is it that the powers may be in our country, rather foreigners who come there by aeroplane and we come there by labor pain, that they will solve their crime and what happened to them more than solve our situation in our country?
Jeffrey, let me
Of
answer you
course.
biblically. Let me answer you biblically. When Christ entered this earth, the wise men came doing what? Bearing what?
yes.
Gifts. So the foreigners, when they come bearing gifts. Gifts that is hard to refuse. And what I'm trying to say in a coded manner is that they have sold us out, where it is only for self-empowerment, but not for national empowerment. They're selling off the country piece by piece, and they give them guarantees. The Chinaman don't pay tax. He's tax exempted for 5 years. And when the 5 years up, he re-register the business on next Chinaman name. And that is what is happening in Jamaica. We have no rights as real Jamaicans or true Jamaicans.
Because I would agree with you in part in regards to, but we have to have some way of standing up for our own. We can't blame everybody for everything else that's happening in our country. This is our country. And the Chinese certainly weren't here and starting this situation. I don't agree that we should be giving moratoriums to Chinese and not giving it to our own people, but it's our own fault. We have not been looking after our own people. Instead of our leaders having become our protectors, they've become worse than our masters. And that is the issue that we are facing. We are not looking after our people. We're not providing for them. We're not giving the necessary loans. We're not giving the necessary land, which if they had done in the first place, they would not have had to squat, etc., etc. So we need to look at how we have been treating our own. You want self-government, you have got it. But how are you treating the people around you? And that is the issue. And so and whether you like it or not, some of these youngsters have grown up to resent what is happening when they see other people stealing at the ports, wherever in government. They take people's things and they turn it over and what have you, and they're not in the game. And so let me make it quite clear, they're not stupid. They are learning and they have learned. Okay, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that we need, if you train up the child in the way it must go, it will not depart therefrom. The Bible told you that. So therefore we have to you talk, Louis, about reconstituting and doing other things. That's what we need to do. We need to focus on our children. We need to go back there, our families. We need to be, it takes a village to raise a child and what have you, and so on and so forth. Like me, I had no father figure, but guess what? I've done fairly well for myself in life, and many other than my host of children. I have not abandoned them. But our fathers at one stage had abandoned our children and the mothers too, because it was for a different man or what have you. So let us look at the societal situation. Let us break it down into empirical evidence and look at the evidence instead of saying X, Y, Z, or it's. Yes, the politicians have to be held accountable. Yes, but so are the church people. Right? What are they doing? How is it possible that we have more churches in Jamaica than anywhere else in the world, and we have more crime than anywhere else in the world?
You know why? You know why, Dr. Francis?
They were a powerful group. They were a
Hold a minute for me. You know why, Dr. Francis? I will say this, and a lot of people are going to vex with me this evening. The church then dead. The church are in the back pocket of the politicians.
I think they're also afraid too. I think that they are afraid. I don't know who can tell me that. And there are certain people with money in the country that is running the country with whoever is in power. And
Yes,
so and you
because
can look at it and see. Let me tell you something. You listen, just open your eyes and work. Listen, Jamaicans, we have a lot of powerful Jamaicans here in the United States. But can we come together? Absolutely not, because the master, that's where I go back to slavery, has done such a job on us. Good here, bad here. They have whatever it is. Don't trust me. Too black, too black, not good. These are the situations that we have to address in ourselves and start. I support any Jamaican, so long as they're ethical, moral, and so on, in regards to any political office, because I do not believe in taxation without representation. So therefore, I'm saying we need to band together as one unit where we are strong, and if we are strong, we cannot be broken. That's my view.
If you're just joining us, we're a special edition of Make We Talk here on Make We Talk. It is now 7:09 in Kingston, Jamaica. The question is, do you feel safe in your own home while the crime situation is out of control in Jamaica? If you're just joining us on the Jeffrey Tavares, or the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel, our Twitter page, welcome. Feel free to put in your comments, share, like, and subscribe. I see I have a Lisa on the Zoom here with us. Is it Lisa from Green Island Comprehensive High School who I used to went to school with?
No.
Good
Auntie
afternoon.
Paulette. Good afternoon. Auntie Paulette's sister in New York.
Okay, what do you think about what is going on in our country? Do you think Jamaica, do you feel safe in your own country, live on social media?
The honest truth, I don't watch social media. I don't watch
No. I'm
nothing going
saying to
on in
you, no.
Jamaica.
I am saying to you, you're live on social and on my social media platform. But we're asking you the question, do you feel safe in your home now?
Yes.
Where are you?
Where?
New York.
Oh. Do you, yeah, I'm all right to say yes. Do your family members feel safe in Jamaica?
Well, no.
And what is the cause of it?
The crime.
So are we
The
as
question,
Jamaicans?
I think, hold on.
Hold on for me, please. Hold on for me, please, Dr. Francis. Are we as Jamaicans, are we speaking out about what is going on in our country? Or because our party in power, Prince Andrew is in power, pro-God is in power, so we can't say nothing about pro-God, because him named pro-God, the dictator.
Oh, I'm not living in Jamaica, so I don't really.
No, but no, because you're not living in Jamaica. You're a part of Jamaica. Your family in Jamaica.
Well, can I say, just let me just address her a moment. You sound like a young lady, and I just want to commend you for coming on to say. But something, the question should be, do you feel safe when you go to Jamaica, or when you are in Jamaica, or does your friends and family, whoever they are, feel safe? What is the message that they're sending? Well, there was a poll that said 93% of the people did not feel safe and did not feel trust what was happening in Jamaica. And now talk about party lines. I mean, I'm not going to hide it, because these people would have been my government. Let's put it that way. I don't agree with what is happening. Okay, and let me put, if you're a Christian person or whatever you are, and you cannot tell yourself the truth, then something is wrong with you, right?
True.
Because you have to tell yourself the truth. And
Yes.
by the way, Pastor, you have such a green uniform that you could be a part of this government.
Get back, smash up.
Hold on. Anyway, it's a joke better than quarrel. Let me tell you something, guys. It's about time we sit down. We are few here in number, but we pass on the message that we are not giving up on our country. But it gone bad, but it can come good morning. If we decide in the US and in Canada and all over the world that we are going to make sure that we do what we have to do. For example, we can withhold some of our investments, some of our whatever we give to Jamaica. Because let me make it quite clear, Jamaica is the best place I know on earth. I mean,
Oh,
the
yes.
USA.
I
Sorry,
agree with
USA.
you,
I
Dr.
mean, but
Francis.
the point I'm trying to make is now it's almost unlivable for some people. Some people don't have a problem. In Portland, if you're in Portland, people get it right. Anybody come in there and chop them up. But the point is this, that this doesn't happen in everywhere. And even in certain parts, you don't go up to Cherry Garden, you don't go up to these places because they got it locked. One guy went up there with some guns, and when them turn around, there's 30 guns looking at them. You understand? They're not going there. They're not stupid. One guy going to a bar the other day on I think down so, and when going and shoot the bartender, when them come out and kill them. The point I'm trying to make is doping know who for frightened. So I'm saying to you, we are so scared, we are so afraid, and we're looking kudos from this, that, and the other, that we are afraid to say what is necessary to be said. And that's my view. So I just want to say to you.
Dr. Francis, Dr. Anarchy Thompson, Jackie, my good friend Sir Clark from St. Thomas, Louis. The question we must ask ourselves, are we that partisan that we don't see what is going on in our country? Is it that because we have a blind over our head, over our eyes, a thing over our eyes, that we're saying to ourselves, my party is in power. So my party did something wrong for me. All we know is wrong. Just like the other day, the Prime Minister decided to go into the people's house and lie to the nation. He lied to the nation that he got intelligence that the Klansman gang was selling off lands over by Burnett Lodge. And he told the people of our country and the nation and the entire world that he has given instruction to carry out bulldozer on poor people's house. And what he did, he sent out the army with a JDF helicopter in the air baggering over and drones. While the country crime rate is out of hand. Huh? And we sit down in our country because what? We are PNP or we are JLP. I'm afraid to talk. Well, Jeffrey Tavares is either P or J. I am a Jamaican and Jamaica come first for me. The time has come where we must put away politics and call a spade a spade. The two political parties has failed the country when it comes down to crime. When a government cannot secure its own people, something is fundamentally wrong with the government of the country. And the criminals have become a clear and present danger to the national security of Jamaica. And I go further, the politicians on the both sides of the fence has become a clear and present danger to our security because they can't secure us, but we pay to secure them. This is sitting wrong with all of it.
Jeffrey,
I said that to you earlier, brother Jeffrey.
Right? But right now, Jeffrey, I don't want to concentrate on the political parties because, as you say, they have failed us, right? It's for we, even from this program here, for we to develop something to say to the administration, whichever party is in power, that this is the solution that we hear. If it's we can go outside and say, well, yes, support, and a majority of us is want this to be implemented when you are in power, which whether you are Mr. J or you are Mr. P, we want this implemented. And I am putting forward, and Dr. Francis, I'm saying that just like how you talk about education from the youth, from your bond, you're talking about developing people. At my age, I remember when I'm not a Christian now, and I don't want to advertise. I don't even concentrate on that. But I used to have to go to Sunday school every blasted Sunday. Excuse my language. But I was educated on the moral values of how to live with my neighbor, how to have respect for. You're talking about disrespecting soldiers now. I had to obey as a policeman, a district constable when I was a youth. So it has broken down over the years. We have to get back to the solution. And I am putting on the table, and I've put it before, and I think one of you guys knock it down. The community have to start. Let me back up. The community must realize that they are their first line of defense. We know that the community have some people who are part of the gangs, but we have to know how to weed them out. Don't
Mr. Barton, Mr.
put it
Barton,
on the back
pick
burner.
up in right there. As I said about the
Hold
community.
on there for me. One at a time. One at a time. Hold on for me.
Brother Jeffrey, I just take you speak. Just speak. I just want
Jackie,
let
wait,
me
wait,
just
wait.
come
Jackie,
in
make him
right
speak
here.
first. Make him
Just
speak
remember
first.
what you're saying. I just want you to stick up in. All right. You're saying about the community, right?
yeah.
I'm not gonna go a year or 2 years back, right? Just a couple weeks ago, I'm not even gonna use the months. You have 30 odd men and the and this. How would you this gang trial going on, right?
Mm.
All right. But I just want to show you something when I'm talking about the community. You need the community to really get involved. The crown witness, right? In that case, he's from the community, right? He was a member of the gang, too, right? I'm just showing you what happened to his entire family. He's the crown witness, you know. The government don't, and this is what I'm saying, that you can't
Don't
involve
protect
the
the
community
witnesses.
if the government doesn't implement something to protect the community. Because if he's the crown witness, like here in the US, they have witness protection,
Thank you.
right? They would protect him and his family, move them out,
Thank
give
you.
them whatever. There, they didn't do nothing for him. And the entire family then kill them and burn them out. Because all of the information go back to them. So when we are talking about this and talking about the community, we have to look into it because we're in that same community. It could be you, it could be me, it could be Dr. Francis, Brother Jeffrey, Pastor Thompson, it could be any of us.
Yeah.
Because the government doesn't have
What,
a plan, he doesn't have something, he doesn't have a program where he's gonna protect your witnesses. And that's why people not moving forward to access.
I understand where you're going.
Hold on
right?
for me. Hold on
But
for me.
what
Hold
I'm
on for
saying
me.
is that we in Jamaica,
Go ahead, Louis. Go
let me
ahead.
just finish. We in Jamaica have to realize.
Louis, unmute your mic, Louis. Your mic is muted.
Hold on, we are the people who are going to protect ourselves. To some policy force.
Louis, your mic mute again.
Am I mute and not hearing? You
Okay,
hearing
I'm
me
hearing
now?
you now, Louis.
No.
I think we're having some internet issue with you, Louis.
Yeah, I know. Every so often I get cut off. I
Okay,
don't
go
know
ahead.
what is happening here. But I'm saying that the government can put a plan. If you're going to if you know that a community is being threatened and the community is being threatened, it cannot independently defend themselves, then you probably can bring in the police force. But I want the citizens in every community to realize that they are their first line of defense. When they cannot do it, anymore, then you call the police in, then you call the soldier in. But they have a responsibility to every house in their community, every house on the block. That is where I like to start from.
Okay.
That is where I'm saying that
No, I'm going to that will come back.
against criminality starts from. You start at the community level and you bring people in. And community also mean the education. The child shouldn't be. I'm seeing children in depressed community who is on the street begging. That shouldn't happen. The community citizens association, somebody should be
Then
saying,
Mr.
why
Barton.
are you out of
Mr.
school at
Barton.
that time of the day or at that time of the night? Something is wrong.
Mr. Barton. Mr. Barton. Then if the people, listen to me.
Sorry, I'm having some internet problem. I don't know if you're hearing me.
I'm hearing you. You're hearing me loud and clear from Negril Point to Moran Point?
I missed that, Jeffrey.
You're hearing me loud and clear from Negril Point to Moran Point?
Listen now.
I'm hearing you, but I'm not hearing you loud and clear.
Well, something wrong with your system. Anyway, I'm going to say something here now. We are talking about citizens, yes, and community, yes. But if we have the people in this in the communities, they don't have no job. They don't have any jobs. They have these kids that they're hungry. So they go on the road to try and get something to eat. And when you have a government keep on lying to the nation about our statistic of jobs and how much this and how much that, we're lying to the people. Same way they lie to the people about the crime statistics. We're just lying to the nation day by day. I agree that it has to start from within the homes. I agree with that, but the fact of the matter is, the people need leadership, and we're lack of leadership in Jamaica. In this country of Jamaica, we're lack of leadership. Jamaica have one of the biggest cocaine busts. You don't hear nothing from the Prime Minister mouth. You don't hear nothing from the Minister of National Security mouth. You don't hear nothing from the Commissioner of Police mouth. Huh? People dying like blackbirds. Boom, bam, 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 boom, pepe, boom, boom, bam, bam. I still not hearing nothing from them. Why are they in there? Why can't we say to them same way the people of Great Britain said to Liz Truss, come down, go sit down.
Yeah.
We have the same type of governing in Jamaica, the Westminster style of governing. It is time for the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Insecurity, dumb, the Commissioner of Police, twiddly dumb, to resign. Dr. Francis?
We don't have a same structure. Let me just back up on something before you go on, Dr. Francis, because we have the same structure as Britain, but it's 630 MPs in Britain, and all of them have an independent voice. They can get rid of a government easier than we of the 63 that we have here. These 63 here are under control. They cannot do anything. All of them want to be minister, and all of them have a potential to be minister. In England, over 500 MPs have nobody to control.
Right.
Remember you're on air, Pastor Frank. Go ahead.
No, you know.
We do apologize about that. Go ahead, Louis.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, going back to basic, I just have to repeat myself that we need to come together. I want to ignore the government. I want to say, well, I don't want to.
But Louis, how on earth can you ignore the government?
Ignore the government.
And the people put that. Hold on for me, Dr.
Ignore the government. But that's who you need to go through to get whatever we have to get done. And
hold on for me, Dr. Francis.
No, you don't.
Hold on, Louis, hold on a minute. How on earth can you ignore a government? Louis, hold on for me.
In this meeting, you can't ignore them because you put. Yeah.
Louis,
we can come together. The 8 of us here, 8 of us can start a movement to say, well, how we can solve crime. And then you put it towards the government. Ignore what the government is.
You know, Louis,
they're doing something. They're going to ignore. They're ignoring us.
Louis, you didn't hear me the first time. We laid out our way from 2015 when Montague was there. We laid it out. We gave them a roadmap. We gave them a crime plan. Right? We gave it to them. We offered them free service. People with hundreds of years of experience. Right? We gave it to them and they ignored it. They started out and then they ignored it after Dr. Chan came in. The fact of the matter is, so what is the reason for that? What is the reason? The thing is this, that we can't say, you know, these are all smart men. You said that everybody can be a minister. I don't know about that. You know, and I'm not knocking anybody's intelligence or what have you. That's not for me to do. All I'm saying is you have to have the heart. And you were honest enough to tell us that you're not necessarily a man of faith, but at the same time, you're a man of heart. You are a man of ethical constructs and moral constructs. Unless if you love your people, you know, I say to people, do you really love Jamaica? And the question is, some will say, yes, I do. I said, tell me how. What are you willing to sacrifice for Jamaica? And that's the problem. Some people do love it from afar, but they don't want to do anything to it or for it. And so I'm saying to you, if you can allow someone to go hungry, or you can allow someone to go clothed, I mean, those are examples that are in the Bible, biblical, but also in humankind, anytime, because you look out for you, it's empathy. And I'm wondering if empathy is lost in Jamaica. I'm wondering if being our neighbor is lost in Jamaica. When somebody can just walk in and just shoot somebody like that in front of everybody and walk out. And then at the same time, people say, no death penalty, no this, no that. How are you? If you think you have children, I don't know if you have children, but I have. And if you allow your child to get away with everything that they want, that child is not going to amount to anything. You understand?
They're gonna run over you. They're gonna run over you.
I beg pardon?
They're gonna run over you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me make it quite clear. In my household, I am the man. And if I'm not the man, then I ought not to be there. And I had no father figure to be an example. But I promised myself that once I became a father, I would become that father. So we have to know, those of us who know better, do better for Jamaica. Not just talk. Yes, you're right. We have to intervene. And yes, we can make a difference. But the question is, we have to go in there for the long run. We must tell our pastors, listen, we are not just here for collections. We are here to collectively work together to see if we can make Jamaica better. We don't care about the government. We don't care about who's in power. We just care about the bloodletting. Our lives, Jamaican lives, matter. Okay?
Yeah,
And it's being
that's
spread.
that's true, Dr. Francis. That is so true. And I believe they should reinstate the death penalty, because these guys, they know that they just kill a man, them go jail, them go to jail for the rest of their life. You know, take them life.
Brother Jackie?
I believe they should do that, and maybe for the first 2 years after they reinstate it, make it public hanging and make it mandatory that every boy child after the age 13 go see it. Every parish, the crime happening in Manchester, they kill him in Manchester, the town square. Right there, you have the gallows, and it is mandatory. Let they see what happened to that man when he dangled up there. Make him decide him not want him mother and father see him in that way. Make it mandatory and see if we can change some lives.
Indeed. I say wherein I have with me my good friend Wilfred Radigan, former FBI agent, attorney at law.
Welcome, Mr. Radigan.
Unmute your mic, Willie.
Trouble in the dance, trouble in the dance.
Trouble tonight.
Wilfred Ratigan, he's coming to us live from some undisclosed location around the world.
That's okay.
Go ahead, Willie.
Yes, my brother. I'm coming to you live from Cape Town, one of the most beautiful cities in the entire world.
Wow. South Africa.
Wow.
Yeah,
South Africa, man.
You're coming all the way from South Africa.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes.
So Ratigan, the topic this evening is, does Jamaicans feel safe in their home while dum-dum and twiddly-dum-dum don't know what they're doing?
Well, I can tell you this. There are two components to, as far as I'm concerned, to crime. One is statistics, right? You can look at the numbers and say, well, we're managing crime or we're not managing crime. The other one is it's hard to be empirical about it, but you can ask people, do you feel safe? And sometimes even when the numbers seem like you're managing crime, people still don't feel safe, because that's what we're led to believe by some in Jamaica, that the numbers are constant. It's not extraordinary, right? But if you ask people that question, like, do you feel safe? The overwhelming majority of the people will tell you no. And that goes hand in hand with the recent poll that says that 93% of those polled had no confidence, little or no confidence in the Minister of National Security. I know you're calling him another name.
Yes, say it, man, the Minister of National Security and Injustice.
and the police commissioner. So the answer from me is a resounding no. People do not feel safe in their homes. And if you don't feel safe in your home, remember now the maxim that your home is your castle. And if you can't feel safe in your castle, imagine how you feel out the street, right? Because I read something today where they said that Jamaica is averaging about 8 murders per day. 8 murders per day. And then you look at our leaders and say, well, what have they done to stem the scourge of mayhem? And so far, I haven't seen anything indicating that they know what they're doing or that they have a plan to arrest the increase in violent crime, particularly murders. So it's a dismal situation, and I don't see it getting any better.
Or the question must be asked, Mr. Rattigan. Is it that they do not know what to do? Is it that they just draft up documents sent to the nations around the world who give them donor funds? I was speaking to the chairman of the Police Federation this afternoon, begging him to come on. He said to me, Jeffrey, I can't come on because what? They shoot a policeman last night. So he has been lending moral support. And until now, you don't hear dumb come out and say nothing much as fiddly dumb. And the police in Jamaica, in this blessed country of ours, are underpaid. They don't have any resources. They're paid $70,000 a month, some of them. Meanwhile, them in Parliament, the Minister of Injustice, Delroy Chuck, say him come out in politics because he lose money. So we ain't there for. While the people of our country is not secured. Another young lady is brutally murdered.
Right.
Huh? Is brutally murdered. Another young man, him pop some shot in a girl head.
I should have said.
Go ahead, Willie.
No.
Jackie?
Yes.
Go ahead, man. Speak.
Yeah. I'm back.
Okay.
Come back.
Okay, Willie.
No. What I was about.
Oh, Lord.
I need to mind my manners. I should have started out by saying, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, you're breaking up, Will. You're breaking because your internet
Can
access.
you hear me?
You're breaking
Can
up,
you
Will.
hear
Your
me?
internet access is going out.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're hearing it barely.
Okay, hold on a second.
You're in the matrix. You're in the matrix.
All right, hold on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear
Loud
me?
and clear from Cape Town to South Africa and back.
Yeah, no, listen. First of all, let me apologize because I should have said, made some remarks about my fellow panelists or and your listening audience, and I didn't. And for that, I'm sincerely sorry. Let me backtrack. Good evening to all the panelists and to your listening audience. And just so you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning here. It's 2:36 in Cape Town. So
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I saw the advertisement, and the wild horses could not have kept me away. So I decided I was going to stick around. Yeah, I decided to stick around to listen to my good friend Jeffrey Tavares on Make We Talk Radio, along with the doctors and all of the other people. You know, I saw Dr. Francis a while ago. I don't know, and I heard my good friend. I believe it's Paul Bogle's great
Yes, him same one. We're gonna lead a rebellion soon, you know.
Well, we need to put him in charge of that.
but sir, I think like why I have you here, and I know you can't stay long with us because you know you have to go and get some shut eye. And I hope you don't have a camera person with you, you know.
A camera person?
Yes, man, because the flew one from Timbuktu to Timbuktu if you take picture, you know.
No, my camera person asleep. See what this. See what this.
But
My camera person.
on a
My
very
camera
serious
person
note,
draw a boogie.
on a very serious note, Sir Rattigan,
Yes, sir.
you're in South Africa,
Yes.
and you hear what is going on in the country that you love. You're born
Yes.
and grow Waterhouse,
Yes.
and you have sent you and Dr. Francis with Dr. Herb Nelson Jr. with former Ambassador Curtis Ward, and a lot of people have put a crime plan presented to the both political parties in this country, and they did nothing about it. Now the question is this: should they continue to get donor funds?
That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. As you know, they have written a bunch of drafts and a bunch of donor fund application documents. They've drafted those for the sole purpose of getting funding. And we don't know how the money is spent. We know that we don't know how the money is truly spent, or is it transferred to someone's account. The one thing we know is that it's not spent on where it should be spent. It's not spent on the police, because the police, as you know, the police, they don't have ballistic vests. They don't have ballistic helmets. And when I say they don't have, meaning that they don't have enough for all of the people who should have it in the JCF. Some people have it, but not the entire population of the JCF. So they don't have ballistic vests. They don't have ballistic helmets. They don't have weapons, because some of the policemen, when they show up for work, they have to sign out the weapon, and when they finish, they have to sign it back in. They don't have a personally owned weapon, so they go home defenseless. They don't have cars. There's one division with, I think, 40 cars and 23 of them in the shop. They don't have a crime plan. They don't get proper remuneration. They don't have good working conditions. What else? They don't have collapsible batons. They don't have pepper spray, non-lethal weapons. So essentially, and I did a program last week where I said, is the JCF given a basket to carry water? And the answer is yes, yes. So we complain a lot about the police, but if you don't give them the tools, if you don't give them the resources, if you don't give them the support to fight crime, then you have to ask yourself, are we really serious? Meaning the government, is the government really serious about fighting crime? They have something called something called Plan Secure, right? Which is, I guess they're trying to say it's a functional equivalent of crime plan, but it's not. Also, they have state of emergency, and these are not effective crime plans. They're not. In fact, they're not even strategies. Those are tactics. And some of the people are the so-called professionals. They don't know the difference between a strategy and a tactic, and which leads me to the conclusion that we will not win the battle against crime the way we're fighting it right now, because we're asking the police to fight crime with one hand tied behind them back. And it cannot work. So what we need to, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just want to ask a question, because Jeff just mentioned that some of the panelists here presented a crime plan to the government and nothing was done, right? Now, if the government did not accept it, couldn't you put it to some of the civic organizations? Like I'm part of a taxi association. Could you put it to the taxi association, to the civil servants, to the different organizations, to say, let us get together and see how we can implement this crime plan, even if the government doesn't want to do it?
Let me answer that question. Let me answer that question. No, they did. There's something called the consensus on crime that the private sector, NGOs, the government, the opposition, a whole host of agencies decided to back. And this came up back in 2020, and it failed. It failed. And now the Prime Minister, I think it was in September, called for something called a political consensus on crime, because he's saying that they should put politics aside and adopt the positions in this consensus. So it's been backed by all of the organizations you're talking about. And I understand what you're saying. Can't you put it to the Taxi Association and others? But at the end of the day, it comes down to the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security. And if they if they refuse it, I think they can refuse it from the diaspora, but they shouldn't refuse it from Jamaicans living in Jamaica. And that's what they've done. And so what I'm proposing is that we stop appealing to them and appeal to the masses, because there's such a thing called an election. And then people need to go to the ballot. People need to go to the booths and vote these issues. Don't vote for your party. Vote for production.
Thank you.
Don't vote for politics. Vote for country.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. Ignore the government. Let us implement something irrespective of what they are doing. We have to depend on ourselves.
But let
us hear from Dr. Francis, because he was a part of the person who presented a crime plan to them. Dr. Francis?
Let me say this to you. We have, in fact, in essence, ignored the government on a number of issues. But at the same time, remember, it's not like in the United States where you can put a measure on the ballot and then we go vote for that. We have to vote for somebody who we believe who will vote for it. And right now, with the thing lopsided, and even the government not failing in terms of criminality, they still have the popular vote, and so they're not going to accede. And that's the reason why I think our Prime Minister can hold his head on the other side and ignore us. But there are only a few ways we can affect that. We have done things locally, and we're doing things with and making partnerships with other local entities. And so if you are interested in that, we can work with you. And we're working in a number of areas. And in those areas that we're working, we have had some great success. The problem is, I think that successive governments, and especially this one, is sort of they're keeping the people, trying to keep the people informed, uneducated, and dumb in regards to what their powers are. And they believe that the politicians really have the power, but people that have the power. And so if we start to do that and we start to implement that, and we can work with smaller organizations, and we have never stopped. We have never stopped. We have successes. I cannot name all the successes because you don't necessarily want to know where we are working, because we don't want to affect the people in those areas. The fact of the matter is, though, there's one community I'm going to tell you about in Augustown. For example, the MP is there almost on every occasion that these people are, and that's what MPs should do. Unfortunately, it's not replicated throughout the society. And so, this is the issue. We gave them a framework, some degree of framework. We can upgrade it. We can because it is a multifaceted approach. So, like what you're saying, Louis, it is in fact indeed a multifaceted approach. Everything in consideration, and in fact community policing as well too. So, Mr. Rattigan will tell you, he and I and all of our colleagues have been doing ceaseless work. We have not stopped. It's just that we come to a point of frustration when we see people are dying at rates that we have never seen before, and it's totally unnecessary. Yes, there are going to be criminal. Yes, there's going to be violence. But if these people thought that there was some degree of consequence as a result of the, they would then restrain how they are, and we can find them. They can be found. Money can find them. They can kill for money. We can find the funds to do that. And we have, the only alternative in a sense that some people have been talking is a vigilante force. I don't necessarily agree with a vigilante, but that is what, if it continues like that, you're going to find people getting together and say, okay, if the police can't take you out, we're going to have to take you out. And that is unfortunately where we're going. So what have we seen? Look at Haiti. Ladies and gentlemen, you can laugh all you want, but if this continues with the tail wagging the dog, that is exactly what is going to happen. Jamaica will be ungovernable if these people don't take into consideration what is happening at the ground. And they think they're in control, but I happen to know that a gun has no respect of persons. It takes a man or a person to pull a gun. The gun doesn't pull itself. That's my view.
I'm sorry that I didn't get that chance to see that proposal, because we need something to go forward. And even if it's one person or one organization who can push it, you should present a plan to all of Jamaica. to say and publicize it. Let us know about it. Let other organizations latch into it and see how can it benefit. I probably have an input because one of the things that I want to have to recognize in a crime plan, is the international aspect of it. Like Sir Ratigan is in South Africa, which is one of the highest crime rates in Jamaica in the world right now. What do we have in common away from being the same color that causing this crime?
Okay,
There must be something, and if we find that commonality, then we can say, oh, okay, let us work on this aspect.
Let me say this to you quickly. We are higher than South Africa in the rate of crime. That's the first thing. And right now, there is a thing called the Official Secrets Act that they refuse to get rid of in the parliament. That means that some things cannot be said unless they give permission, and the government and the opposition will not let go of it. The official secret, which was imposed by the government of England, and they still won't let it go. Why? Because it protects them. It protects them from prosecution, and things are coming out. Those are the things that they need to let go of, and they think we're stupid. We don't know that. But we do understand what they're holding on to. It is power, and the power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. You see what's happening in Ukraine at the moment. So let me make it quite clear. If you don't want that to happen, then you have to take steps yourself in Jamaica. Okay, a 12-year-old girl and a 15-year-old girl were brutally sexualized and what have nearly murdered. And where's the outcry? Another influencer, where is the outcry on all these murders? Where is it? Everybody gone silent? Come on, give me a break.
And not only that, Dr. Francis, there's a well-known doctor in Portmore who sexually assaulted a young lady.
That is correct.
And when the mother went to the police station to make the complaint, by the time the mother leave the police station, the doctor could have called her and said to her, you went and complained to me at the station?
Yes.
Those are the things that Jamaicans face every day.
Yes.
And nothing is being done about it. Because we have some laws in our books in our country from the 18th centuries where dumb and twiddly dumb, and along with the injustice minister Delroy Chuck. Listen to me. We better wake up in the country now. Go ahead, Dr. Francis.
Yeah, I'm just saying to you that, the police, let me tell you something. Ladies and gentlemen, please. You can call the police, they are not all bad police. But they've been given, you cannot pay a big man 70 or 80,000 Jamaican dollars, and who have a family, have a car, have a house, and his children. How is he going to survive? Where is he going to live? You see what happened to these that go into certain areas? They're going to kill them. We should have them in almost like in protective areas so that their families can be away from that type of thing. You understand me? We should have areas where our witnesses can go as well. Because these people are not stopping, they're spending money, they're scamming. Do you know how many people have been arrested in 20, 30 years in jail in the US for scamming? It's an amazing number, almost worse than Nigeria. So listen, I'm saying to you, spread the word. We cannot continue like this. We're going to implode, right? And the first person to implode is us. Okay, if they can't manage, if they could have managed COVID to a certain extent and they cannot manage crime, something is wrong. Okay, so we need to now expose it. We need to talk about it. We need to tell our neighbors about it and stop the foolishness about crime is everywhere. No, yes, crime is everywhere, but they can solve some of theirs. We can't solve any of ours.
But Dr. Francis, that's why I'm saying that the plan that you guys put together, you should probably start to promote it now and don't give up. Because one of the reasons that we are in this situation where nobody protests against the type of crime, that the viciousness of these crimes, is because we get immune to it and there's no solution. Nobody not proposing a solution. The government doesn't have a solution. And I personally have never heard of any other solution. So we need, if there's something, if there's a plan there, let us all hear about it and let us implement it if the government cannot implement it. One of the problems in Jamaica now is transportation. I'm in the transport sector.
Yes.
And the crime sector, the criminal activity is almost controlling the transportation sector. If there's a crime, if there's a solution to a crime problem and you have it, let us in the transport sector hear about it and see where we can put it in, implement it, start it. But I am going to get, I am immune to the crime now because the other night I saw where these guys jump in Hanover and shoot the police, the shopkeeper. And
Yeah.
I dismiss it, not consciously, but I say, oh yeah, another killing. Not, I'm immune to it. And I would
hold a minute for me, hold a minute. Hold a minute. We remember we have other people on the panel here. Dr. Clark, Mercer Clark, go ahead. Mr. Clark? Okay, Dr. Paul Etanaki Pharmacy, you have something more to say, ma'am?
I will send the information to you, Brother Tavares, to distribution. And I'm sure Brother Rattigan and I will communicate about it.
Louis, go ahead.
That's the start of something. I would be very happy for that because in my organization, if it suits us, because that's another thing we have to think about, right? Because you might put something together and I have a different idea, but there must be a point that we can unite on. So I would love for you to pass that to Jeffrey and Jeffrey pass it on to us and we take it from there. We're not promising anything, but it is better than having nothing right now because right now we really have nothing.
Rattigan?
You know what? Yeah, you know what, Jeffrey, you know, when you describe the ministry as being the Ministry of National Insecurity, I mean, some people laugh, but I think we should all take it seriously. And here is why. And here's why I take what you said seriously, Mr. Tavares. Because the JCF, right, its mantra is to protect, serve, and reassure. Part of that means that they have to have a plan to combat crime. Now think about it. If the citizens have to come up with a plan and give it to the police and say, here is what you should be doing, that's a sad day. That's a sad day. And that's why I said it's an injustice that you would have a Ministry of National Security who cannot and does not know anything about protecting its people. That now we have to turn to the citizens and people overseas and say, come with a plan and give to them. And when you give them the plan, they still ignore it. I think that the demonstration should have started already by saying, look, we need to see a crime plan. We need to see a crime plan because taxpayers' money is being spent to put these people in these positions so that they can come up with a plan to protect the citizens of Jamaica. And yet still we don't have a plan. So it's been 6 years now, and we haven't seen a plan. We haven't seen it. We hear about Operation Plan Secure or whatever, Plan Secure. We hear about this, we hear those, blah, blah, blah. We need a plan. That's not a plan. Those things that they're telling you about, trust me, I've seen crime plans. Those things are not crime plans. The demonstration should start now. You know, it should start now by saying, where is the crime plan, Mr. Prime Minister and Mr. Minister of National Security, or as Jeffrey calls.
But you know something? When you look at it,
right,
you have a minister and a prime minister and a minister of national security and a commissioner of police. When you
mute your phones.
When you listen to them lying to the people about crime statistics, and they know for a fact it is not true, okay? And you have a opposition party with them dead like Diley's funeral home and made arrest. They went in a conference. We have so much people come at the conference, the Vumvava and the Vumvavi. And until now, they don't tell the people of this country what crime plan they have. So tell me something now. We're in a sad state in this country, you know. Because the government doesn't have no plan. And the opposition doesn't have none. Dag nyam we suffer in this country. It seems like Wilfred Rattigan and Herbert Francis and Herbert Nelson rather than Rupert Francis have not run Jamaica. Because if them not have no crime plan, and the government have no crime plan, where are we going? All they do in Parliament. They have one in there named Edward Warmington. Him cuss off the other one in there saying him worse than Riverton Dump. And they give him national award of old jackass or old something and that. Those are the things we have going on in our Parliament. While our citizens are dying like blackbirds in this country. Huh? And a prime minister goes around for photo for an open house. You think bulldozer in other people's house will sell up? Listen to me, no make us start this evening, you know. Because the minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, them spend 40 million of taxpayers' money. And until now she don't say nothing, she dumb as a doorknob. Huh? And crime in this country going out of work. The police are underpaid, they don't have nothing. So if they don't have a crime plan for Jamaica, Mr. Rattigan, Brother Jackie, Pastor Forbes, Pastor Anarchy Thompson, if they don't have a crime plan for this country, none of them have a crime plan for the country, what is going to become of us? Mr. Rattigan?
Yeah,
As long
you know,
as
somebody
Jamaicans
answer me.
think of Jamaica as Jamaica and not JLP and PMP. As long as them take out this dilated PMP and JLP thing out of them head, the country will be in a better place. Think of Jamaica as Jamaica and not as JLP and PMP. And we will move forward.
Dog name was up in this country because they have the poor young people leaving the education institution, putting them in modern day slavery inside these call centers.
you know what, Jeffrey, I'll tell you how bad it is, right? Tell you how bad. First of all, I cannot imagine the FBI without a crime plan. I was there for almost 30 years, and it's just something that would never happen. I mean, it became so granular that even your squad had its goals and its objectives and its missions, right? And those things cascaded from the leadership. They would set all of these things and it would come down, and then people would use whatever you would act in accordance with the mission, goals, and objectives that came from the leadership to your particular unit. So I just can't see a crime fighting. And I'll be frank with you, I've worked with many crime fighting organizations across the globe. And I can't think of a single one that didn't have a crime plan. Cannot.
But Mr. Rattigan, sorry to cut you, sir. But if they had a crime plan, don't you think the hierarchy of the JCF coming down to the chairman of the Police Federation and other people, don't you think they would have seen it?
Yes, they would have seen it. And we have heard that they have not seen it. They haven't seen a crime plan. And then also, listen, here's another thing that we haven't discussed yet, and that is the optimal number of JCF personnel you need to adequately address the crime problem in Jamaica is 16,000. 16,000. Presently, the JCF has about 12,000. So in addition to the other deficiencies we mentioned, here's another one. They're undermanned. They don't have enough people. And people, whenever they get an opportunity, they're leaving because the JCF, by and large, it's not seen as people don't feel proud to join the ACF. They join the JCF because it's a job or a politician get them in or something that effect. No, I'll tell you, I've been to Japan and it's considered an honor. Considered an honor for them to become a member of their police service. I mean, these guys, they would do it for free because they're doing it for country. They're not doing it for party, right? And I've seen many examples of that around the world where the members are proud to serve. And it's almost like an elite thing. It's almost like a feather in your cap to say, well, I take me, for example. I think it's a feather in my cap to say I was an FBI agent for 30 years. Ask the policeman, if them proud for serve and how you're going to get a mixed bag. You're going to get a mixed bag. And by the way, the attrition rate in the FBI, when I joined back in 1987, it was 4%. And when I left in 2017, it was still 4%. So 4% of the people who join will leave before they reach retirement. Now, in the JCF, you don't have that. In the JCF, as soon as the door open to get your flight for go to Miami or New York or wherever, them gone. Them gone. Because there's no incentive for them to stay. There's no incentive. Look, you put your life on the line daily for what? 70,000 Jamaican dollars. And then you're undermanned, you're underpaid, you're under-resourced. I mean, that's like suicide. Why would you want to do that?
You undermine too?
I just want to say, how do we get to that position in Jamaica? We have to see.
Louis, Louis, hold on a minute, Louis.
No.
How we get to that position?
No,
I'm position.
Yeah, well,
These
listen,
hold on, Louis. These
no,
damn politicians has wrecked the economy of Jamaica. I thought I would stop this bloody PNP and JLP crap in this country. I'm sick and tired of it now.
Well,
They've wrecked the people. Listen to me. They can't secure the people. But every day I hear the Prime Minister drop on all we want give away.
Jeffrey, listen to me. I am saying that those are the problems that we have. We have to come up with some solutions.
But why the hell are we paying them? Why are we paying them?
1 minute. Hold on. I reach a point where I'm not even dealing with them again. I'm saying let us come together as some local people, some groups who can deal with our situation, because the politicians not solving anything for us. Over the years, they have not solved our problem. So let us get together to try solve our own problem. I don't care about the JLP and PNP again. I'm saying let me and Jeffrey get together so that we can stop crime. That is what we have to do now. Let us concentrate on we, not on them.
But Louis, if we put them there to govern us, how the hell must we stop look at them? When they're being paid, hold on, Louis. They cause the problem. The Labour Party and the JLP have Klansman gang. Them start shower posse gang and all kind of gang. The JLP leader going up go say, I am the only Dan in this country and all the others are Donovans. Who started damn Danovanism in this country? They started it.
Yeah, but I'm saying leave them. Let us solve our problem now. Let us start solving our problem ourselves. And leave them alone. Let them do their own thing.
How the hell can we leave them alone, Louis?
A time will come when they have to start to listen to us. If we are organized on the ground, we must do that.
Jeffrey, Louis has a point. So let us now start our own force. If the government will approve it, that we take out all of the criminals to them since they can't do it. Okay? Yeah. We get a group of people together, maybe 200-300 serious people, and then we have our own situation. They approve it. And since they can't do it, we target, we find them, we target them, and we deal with the situation. And they can just stay and back up and watch it done. I mean, I'm sure that we can get a force that can do that.
But Dr. Francis, what? If Wilfred Rattigan, who offered himself to serve his country,
yes,
and because of politics, they said no,
yes,
and he went back again and said, listen to me, there has been some bounty hunters. All right? What they did? He sit down and talk to the Prime Minister of Jamaica. What he did? So they went in big nose and don't say nothing to nobody. Huh? I'm not afraid of the car, that's paid. I'm not afraid of nobody, you know.
The point I'm trying to make.
The Prime Minister need to resign.
No, Jeffrey, listen to what I'm saying to you. I am saying to you, it has reached a point where, we're smart people and so on and so forth. And, Louis made a point. And if we have talented people, I'm sure you'll have volunteers from all over the world. Right? And they're willing to come in and they want to be, and they look at this thing in a very, I don't know if it's possible. I don't, but I'm just saying, if it were implemented, I'm saying to you that these guys would be on the run because they know they don't have anybody to appeal to. The problem is that they're being protected. They're being protected, whoever they are and wherever they are, and so on. And we can go after the people who are helping them. $3.5 billion worth of cocaine came into the newly adopted airport in on the North Coast just recently. And they used to call it the Otres Airport. And the moment they found the 3.5 billion, they started to call it the St. Mary Airport. So you see, people are just stepping back and
The St. Mary Coke Air.
Yeah, well, whatever. The point I'm making is this, that, that this is how they operate in Jamaica. They pass the buck. So what I'm saying is that if we can get a unit, since they can't do it and they're afraid to do it, then they get somebody then to come in and do it and get the country back in stable. And they can be watched, they can be observed as to how they do it and what have you, because I'm sure they're competent people, and some will be paid and some will go for free, who will say, look, let us operate like this and so on and so forth. And we dare them. They will not, let me tell you something. These guys are, will not challenge these people. You know why? Remember the incident in Westmoreland whereby 9 of them went and tried to break into a bank and they couldn't. And a madman came down the road with a piece of pipe and the whole 9 of them ran. The whole 9 of them ran. So what I'm trying to say to you is that these are not brave people. Some of them may be brave, yes, or think they're brave when they drink the fentanyl and they take the cocaine and the what have you, they're brave. But the moment that comes out of the system, they're just like, anybody else. So I'm saying to you then, that may be the answer. And I know maybe my friend Brother Rattigan is smiling around there and all that sort of thing. But I'm telling you, if that can be allowed, since and we need to produce, we need to propose that. Say, hey, you guys can't handle it, and you're making excuses. Let's do it.
Dr. Francis.
Yes, go Jack.
You just give me a joke. Believe me, you believe is a madman using mouth and say, bow, and the gunman them.
Yes.
You believe that?
Yes.
Also.
I saw it. He had a piece of pipe in his hand looking like a gun.
Yes, but he was not a madman.
No.
He wasn't?
No?
No. A gunshot. Maybe the guys them thought that the man for the area, they done for that area around. So they went and did what they have to do. And when the man hear about it, he make attack on them. Madman, come on. Listen to the sound. Come on. No man mouth can sound like a gunshot.
Well, I don't know what listen to me, Jackie. I don't know if it was real or imagined. But if one man can do that to 9 men with rifle, can you imagine what 100 men would do?
Let me just make a quick comment on something that Louis said. I think Louis is on the right track. Here's what I would suggest, Louis. From time to time, we see various people putting on crime summits in Jamaica. You see various organizations. You see guardsmen. You see the
American Embassy.
Yeah, you see the business association, right? One of the things that I notice is that the people who are affected by crime, they're not represented and they're not putting on these crime summits. What I would suggest, though, is that if you talk about getting a crime plan and organizing it at the grassroots level and so on and so forth, what I would suggest is that this is just something for you to think about, is that if you can organize at the grassroots level and put on a crime summit and invite people like Dr. Francis and Herb Nelson and me and a few other people to come on. You invite the Prime Minister, you invite the Minister of National Security, you invite the police, because now they have to respond to you. For us, they can disrespect us and say, well, I don't leave you, I don't vote, so we're not even pay any attention. But once a Jamaican group in Jamaica spearhead a movement like that and said, look, we are the ones dying, we are the ones suffering, we're going to put on a crime summit and we're going to ask you to come and give an account. And we're also going to have other people come, and so we can discuss the crime plan and so on. So they will have no choice but to attend, because otherwise they refuse at their own peril. Meaning that people, no, you'll have the ammunition to say, people, we are the ones who are dying and suffering, and we ask them to come. We put on our crime plan because obviously, when you see guardsmen and all those people, it's an advertisement ploy. right? When they put it on, them have the big launch up a Spanish court and Terra Nova and whatnot, and then them get the media coverage, and then what happened? Nothing. Poor people still are dead. So poor people need to say, well, we want to put on this thing here, and we want to have all of you people, all of you guys, plus we all want to be from overseas. Believe me, I will pay my own way and come there. You don't have to worry about me. I will come there. Coming up with right.
Hold on a while for me, gentlemen.
Jeffrey will come with me. Me know Jeffrey will come with me when we go to. Jeffrey will come. Me know that.
Hold on a while for me, please. Hold on a while for me. I have Evan picture on Zoom here. Go ahead. You want to say something? Go ahead. You want to say something? Obviously not. I don't know who are these people coming on, but anyway, you were saying something, so Louis, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I would take that. I'm going to take up that challenge. But as a matter of fact, I'm saying it easily now, just how Mr. Radican said, easy. It is very hard to organize, especially in my grouping. My grouping is transport operators. There are 40,000 transport operators, legal transport operators. There's probably another 50,000, or let me conservatively say another 30,000 illegal operators. But they are part of the transport sector, and all of them are affected by crime. Either they are accused of being criminals, or criminals rely on them. The criminals feed off the transport sector, and I'm willing to do that. But it's not that hard. It's very hard.
Me will help you. Me will help you organize them. Set up the thing and make me address them. Set it up and make me address them. Set it up and call me and say, "More you come talk to them people." Me will talk to them.
All right, because
and Jeff will come with me.
Yeah.
Me not say about the one there, no. Because them no want. Hello. If you not invite the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security, they're not going to come.
Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. Let us take this step by step here. And I agree with Brother Atkinson. Let us do first a huge Zoom. We had a Zoom. Brother Atkinson will tell you that we attracted a lot of people. And we had a panel, quite a nice panel. And we're close to maybe about 100 or 500 people listening in, right? And so you could do it by that method in the first place. You could start it like that. And so this 40,000 people, can you imagine 20,000 or 30 people listening to what you can do to resolve it? When I saw the transportation situation in Jamaica, it's revolting. I mean, Jesus Christ, but I mean, people can't go to work, they can't go to school, they can't do this, they can't do it. Yes, but you have a cause now. A cause, and you can have people, institutions, companies down there support you as a local entity. They're not listening to the big wigs, they're not, but they will listen to the voters. That's what he's saying. They're listening to the voters because you are the voters across the board. And if you do that, then you have to. And not coming to flowery thing. We don't want that. We come to hear what are the solutions, what you've been saying since night. What are the solutions to our problem, and which will in turn be a solution to the grave transportation problem that is in Jamaica, and it can work. So, Mr. Rattigan, we may be, I tell you, we don't disagree, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm just simply saying, let's take it one step at a time. You arrange that, and we can assure you we can be on and so on. Whether he's in South Africa, see, he's dedicated, he's in South Africa. I'm in West Palm Beach, but guess what? I'm here. And Jeffrey only called me 1 minute before. So guess what? I'm on. The point I'm trying to make.
Jeffrey never called me.
You're my brother, but you always try to steal my thunder. Why do you do that? Okay. No, that's how we are, guys. So the point I'm trying to make, everybody on this call, I mean, we're serious people. We don't take Jamaica as a lightly. We don't take it as a joke. We love our country. And I was saying something earlier. If you love your country, prove it. Stop talking on the backbone. Prove it, as Louis is saying. Louis, let us get up there and let us do something. So yes, Make We Talk has brought us together, but we can do far better. We can get the whole. Can you imagine if other institutions do like what the teachers, the policemen, and all that? They invited me to speak to their audience last time. The president of the association, he's not afraid. He's a good man, okay? And they're good men in the force, okay? And when they see that type of reaction,
and they understand it will be in the poll. You think so when they go to the next ballot, they'll be afraid because many of the seats are only won by 100, 200 votes. Okay, so I'm saying to you, it's not a question. Sometimes, you know, you have to, although it is not politics, you have to use the methodology that politics uses in order to get where you want to be. And let Jackie tell you, he was in the military, I was in the military, and my other buddy there was in the military as well. And I was the first military police officer, by the way, guys, at Upper Camp. My plaque is still there. And I'm just saying to you that, you know, when I started this, they all took it as a joke. And it's been going now for many years, and they still can't stop. And we have colleagues like Mr. Rattigan, Herbert Nelson, and so on. And we have expertise. We have lots of expertise out there, okay? And we have information for a crime plan, and we can produce it. But I'm not giving it to them.
Yeah.
I am making sure we talk it and we produce it where we want to. That's my view.
But before we go any further,
That I agree with that.
but before we go any further,
That is
so
how we're
Louis,
going to solve crime in Jamaica.
so Louis,
Yeah.
before we go any further, Mr. Evan
Yes, sir.
Pitcher,
Yes.
do you want to say something, Mr. Evan Pitcher? Do you feel safe in your home? Are you in Jamaica? Are your family in Jamaica? Do they feel safe in their home? Or the Prime Minister have security around him, you know? In a mansion in Beverly Hills with the Vumva and the Vumva V.
Anyway, I don't think, let's not, if somebody's not willing to say something, brother, let's just leave them alone, because maybe, you know, they're there for other reasons.
I don't understand. I mean, they come on the Zoom, they need to say something.
No, not necessarily. Maybe they're listening to go tell somebody else. We don't know.
Anyway, so Brother Jackie, you have something else to say? Because we're over our time. It is now 9:19 somewhere in the United States, 8:18 somewhere in the land of wood and no security.
All right. Well, yeah, you guys.
No water.
You know, it's funny, you know, because the Prime Minister was the one who, if my memory serves me correctly, he was the one who said a while back that in one of his stump speeches before the election, he said that you'd be able to sleep in your homes with the doors and your windows open.
No, man, shoot off a man.
Right. So I think he should be held accountable for such a statement, because people believed in him, people trusted him. I don't know if they still trust him, but we know that that's not happening. We know that, because if that were the case, he would be trumpeting that all over the place, saying that, look, I promise that you would be able to sleep with your windows and the door. He'd be using that, but he's not talking about it. And in fact, the Minister of National Security said recently that he would not have, if he were advising the Prime Minister at that time, he would not have advised him to make such a statement. Now, imagine that. You are the Minister of National Security, right? And you went focus on something that was said years ago, instead of trying to fulfill the mandate and the message of your leader. You start criticize what he said years ago. To me, the Minister of National Security.
Mr. Rattigan, yes. I think you didn't hear him right. He said he can sleep with his door open.
Oh,
right? He said that. It was a we. It's a he. Right? And right now, I'm sure his door is closed.
No, his door is not closed, you know. Because he have JDF personnel to secure him too.
Brother, let me tell you something. No matter who you have securing, remember more is in Haiti, the fact of the matter is you're not going to sleep with the door open, no matter where you are. Yeah. Okay, so I am just saying to you that I wish him well. You know, I really like you as a person in spite of everything else. But nobody's going to sleep with the door open in Kingston, Jamaica. No matter, even if you're on a mountaintop like he's at, they're not going to do it. Okay? So it is just a matter of fact. So I'm saying to you, you should not have made the statement, but at the same time, it would be nice if we could all don't have to look behind us. You know, and let me say this, you know, there are brave people out there in Jamaica, and there are people who would take this matter, like what Louis is saying, at heart and help out the security system. As those people remember the guy who came into the bar and shot the bartender. I mean, they didn't make it out there; they died outside.
because two guys were outside. Now, I'm saying, so if you give the right people and the right training at the right time, and they're not afraid, they will be able to take care of business. And we get the necessary support from the police and Indicom or wherever they want to be, and so on. So I do believe that Jamaica has the capacity, but the question is, they need support. Everybody needs to come and be able to trust each other, and that's the issue. Trust it, because you can pay a man. It could be your brother, it could be your mother, it could be anybody, and they let you off for money, and that is sad. It's called the Henry Morgan syndrome.
Brother Jackie, your final word, because we're gonna close this situation now. We're gonna close. Your final word, Sir Jackie. Okay.
Jackie's not there.
All right. So Louis, your final word before we go.
Before I'm really happy for the discussion here tonight, because out of this, I'm turned on to start a real advocacy, something on the ground against the criminal activity that we, especially we in transportation, face. But it's not just we in transportation; it's all of Jamaica. But so I hope to implement, to find out, to get some information on that proposed crime plan that you guys put forward, and try to implement it, try to get my associates in the transport sector and other sectors to be part of something. Because for me, my bottom line is that we don't Jamaica, not the JLP and PNP, but we are the ones who is responsible for our own security. I don't look to JLP or PNP for my security. I look to me first, and I protect my house. I go to protect my community with me and my neighbor. And me and my neighbor are going to protect my area, on and on. But I want Jamaica to understand that we individuals are responsible for our own security. And I want to be proud of the police. I want our police officers to be proud of being a police officer.
Me and my neighbor voting for Labour. Your final word, Dr. Francis?
Yes, I just want to say to you that it was indeed a pleasure. I was hoping to go for my walk this evening, but unfortunately, but I'm glad I chose here to be with you. I was very nice meeting you, Louis, and all the persons that are on, and I look forward to interacting with you. I hope that you take Mr. Rattigan's suggestions seriously, and that we can engage. And I think that we will engage at that level. We have many things going on in Jamaica right now, by the way, and they're doing very well, and we're making differences. There have been no murders in some areas that we work in, and even when the areas are volatile, no matter what the stripe they might be, we're still doing very, very well. And we're having a faith-based initiative next year, and we look forward to engaging as many communities as possible. Okay, feel free to touch base with me through Jeffrey or what have you, and we will talk further. Sounds good? One love,
very
one
good.
heart.
And our good friend, Wilfred Rattigan.
Yes.
Future Commissioner of Police, future Minister of National Security. But Jamaica called dumb and twiddly dumb need to go.
Yes, well.
Well, I tell you what, Dr. Francis was getting ready to go for a walk. I was getting ready to go to bed. But I found out that Jeffrey Tavares was on. So I said, no, I have to stay up and listen to my good friend and join in the conversation. Now, I'm in South Africa and I've lived here and the crime rate is high. But as Dr. Francis said, it's not as high as Jamaica's crime rate. In fact, I think it's 36 or 38 per 100,000. Jamaica is about 49 or 50 per 100,000. There are lots of things Jamaica can learn from crime fighting techniques being employed by the South African Police Service. I have my contacts in the South African Police Service goes all the way to the top. The minister and I were friends. And all the commanders, all the leaders, I know all of them, and I'm meeting them now, and I'm getting ideas from them. And this is something that I hope that I could at least get the crime fighting apparatus in Jamaica to understand that, look, you cannot fight crime in isolation. There are people out there facing some of the same issues you're facing, and they're doing things to address it. It's called best practices. So you could engage in a sister relationship with them and exchange ideas, exchange techniques, exchange even second personnel. And I'm willing to do all of this. I'm willing to give them all of my contacts. I'm willing to grease the skid for them so that they can talk to people, because once you start sharing, you'll realize that you have commonalities and you'll realize that there are solutions. But the fact of the matter is that there's a certain level of arrogance and there's a certain level of ignorance in the security apparatus in Jamaica. Them feel like they're, and I mean, we're proud people, but sometimes we're proud to a fault. We feel like we can't do everything and we don't need nobody. We can't just send money come. We will deal with it. Well, you can't buy your way out of crime. And that is the problem that we're facing. We have ill-equipped, we have unqualified people there, and we have some undignified people too, and we have some criminals in those positions. And so it's going to take a lot to get it done. But Louis, I'm telling you, I'm willing to put you in touch with a lot of people, my friend. I can put you in touch with people across this globe. Once you get that grassroots movement going, I can get you speakers. I promise you, I will get you even resources. But we have to start somewhere, and that's to start with the people in Jamaica, because if the people overseas make a bigger noise than the people in Jamaica, it's not going to be heard. Even though the roar is louder, it's not going to be heard. The people in Jamaica, they're the ones who have to say, okay, enough is enough. And then we will join forces. Dr. Francis has joined forces already, but what I'm saying is it's a different angle. It's saying, look, start this thing. Don't let guardsmen and all of those people do the crime summit for you, and you're not even represented. No, that's an advertisement ploy. You said, get up and do your thing. And believe me, you can call on Dr. Francis, can call on Jeffrey, can call on me. Several people you can call on. I will be there, and I will bring along the people that I know who are crime fighters to assist. And hopefully the government at that point, once they realize that the voters in Jamaica are calling for change, they're calling for production, right? They're calling for success. They'll have no choice but to listen at that point, because the diaspora cannot force them to listen. The voters in Jamaica can't force them to listen. So my brother, I'm with you. And whenever you're ready, talk to Jeffrey. Jeffrey knows where to find me. See him find me in South Africa. So whenever you need me, just reach out to Jeff, and Jeff will find me. Thanks,
All right,
Jeff.
no problem.
Thank you very much, Wilfred Rattigan. Before I go, I have this to say. Our country is bleeding. Our country is hurting. We come there by labor pain. We never come there by aeroplane. And people who come there by aeroplane, getting lands free. Some of them they buy up the land them. And the poor pauperizing Jamaicans can't get no land for building a house. And they're talking about they're giving Jamaicans work. They're putting the young people them who come from UWI and UTech in modern day slavery in these call centers. That's another topic for another day. Jamaica is bleeding. Jamaicans overseas and Jamaicans in Jamaica. Our country is bleeding. The time has come for us to stop this PNP and JLP sitting. You're not putting us nowhere. No better barrel, no better herring. Wake up. Wake up, Jamaica, wake up. Do you believe, as what a friend of mine on Twitter, they have a thing that they call on Twitter called Space. A young man on Twitter said to me, Mr. Tavares, if you want Jamaicans to join an organization, just put in gossip. The more to gossip more than anything else. And to speak about the issues, they don't want to do it. The young people of our country is sick and fed up. No job. Yet they come out with this job sitting about now, job whatever have increased to 48% and all kind of percent. And you have a Minister of National Security and Justice. Dumb. And the Commissioner of Police twiddly dumb. They talk about no crime rate gone down where? I know Dr. Francis don't like when I call people name, but I don't give a damn. The time has come for Jamaicans to rise up and wake up. Too much killing going on in our country. The two political parties created a gangmanism in this country. And it's out of control now. They can't do nothing about it. They sell off poor people land. They lock up one principal in the Prime Minister constituency. But yet in going to Parliament go talk about no clansman gang they sell off land. Prime Minister Holness, is the principal a part of the clansman gang? You go to the people in the house go talk, so you understand? I miss so, I use it so. Is the principal of the school that the Chinese them building in your constituency, is she a part of the clansman gang? How is it that you're going to the People's Parliament and tell us that you have credible information that this criminal gang selling off the lands? Prime Minister Holness, you think Jamaican people are fool and dumb like the Commissioner of Police where you have? We're not dumb, you know. We have sense. For far too long, you politicians take us for a bunch of idiots in this country. Enough is enough. And the young people of Jamaica has had enough of you people. They can't find no job. And because the whole bit corruption going on from the Ministry of Labour, so back up to the Prime Minister's office. The young people that turn to scamming. Because the biggest scammers is in the House of Parliament. Along with the church, hello, don't make a start in this evening. Along with one of the pastors in the church. But give you all. Them scamming poor people too. The poor Jamaicans have nowhere to go. Because who not sexually assault the 15-year-old in the church? They scam them. How long must we suffer? And you have a dictator prime minister. Who forget who put him there? And you have opposition leader, him dead as a doorknob. How long shall we continue in this country like this? And you people in our country will sit down. Because what? You don't reach our doorstep yet?
Yeah. Go upstairs.
But I'm saying to you all, rise up. Take a stand. Stop the PNP and JLP bullcrap in this country. May God bless you. May God bless Jamaica land we love. And this is where I say so long with my favorite song. On the top sellout Jamaica.
My Highland don't salute. My Highland don't salute. Please don't salute. My Highland don't salute. Remember your teachers them now. Remember your nurses them now. Remember your doctors them now. My Highland don't sell out. No, 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 no. My Highland don't sell out. please don't sell out. Remember your farmers them now. Remember your workers them now. Remember your neighbors them now.
Good night, Wilfred. Good night, have a good one. Okay. All right, good song, good song. Share it with me, share it with me.
Remember your people them now. Remember the masses.
The producers of Make We Talk program on YouTube and on Facebook and Twitter do not own the copyrights to this song by Burning Spray, My Island Don't Sell Out. May God bless you. May God bless Jamaica, land we love. Until you hear my voice again. Good night.